Seems so different when you aren't.
I got a veiled threat from Orlando the other day telling me they'd reprogram me if I'm not more positive. There's a fine gentleman from Pittsburgh who has taken up residence here. Or he would be if he didn't get engine grease all over my carpet.
Oh, go on, dear. You know I'm thrilled to help if I can.
That miscreant from Crater scratched my chassis on the way in. How rude!
Something for the clinic.
Ah, I see. Certainly.
And Sophie's starting her donation drive today.
The lovely Miss Wagner. Well, hello, darling. A pleasure to meet another guest of our fine establishment. I am Orlando, your host and management liaison. If you'll pardon me for just one moment. That will be all. Please give my regards to Ms. Rucker. If you are here for leisure, I regret to inform you that our regular resort activities are temporarily unavailable. However, if you are here for the refuge and the fine work of the lovely responders, I am delighted to welcome you on their behalf.
Mr. Della Ripa only likes to organize his stamps. Nothing else. Oh, if only he would dust those shelves of his.
Ah, perhaps you have not heard. The Whitespring is now home to the refuge, a place of safety and care for all in need. The refuge is being run by the responders, individuals committed to the well-being of their fellows. They founded the refuge in response to new waves of refugees coming to Appalachia, people in great need of help. Food, medical care, clothing, a place to sleep. All of these are available for those who need them. Darling, I am entirely at your disposal.
I wish they'd tell us what all of those construction workers are up to. Look at what a mess they're making.
No, not by any prior arrangement. Perhaps you visited us before. I must apologize for the state you found it in, if so. Regular operation of the facilities had been stopped, of course, due to a lack of guests. Only the robotic staff remained. The responders, believing it abandoned, took up residence, a completely understandable occurrence, of course. With new and worthy occupants, the management felt it wholly appropriate that it find a new purpose, and sent me. Until such time as the world needs leisure resorts again, the Whitespring is happy to support the refuge. Darling, you must understand. A place like the Whitespring had, indeed still has, very wealthy people behind it. As was always the case, the truly wealthy had advantages the common people, such as you and I, lack. As for the Whitespring itself, the staff of top-of-the-line robotic servants, security, and maintenance allowed it to weather the worst.
Mr. Della Ripa only likes to organize his stamps. Nothing else. Oh, if only he
Me?
would dust those
Have I
shelves.
beguiled you already, dear? I appreciate the flattery, of course. You must allow me to retain some mystery for now, though. I wouldn't want you to lose interest. Perhaps we can talk more some other time. We both have more important matters at the moment, I'm sure. As I've said, I am the management liaison for the Whitespring. I oversee the facility itself and its robotic staff. In addition, on behalf of the management, I arrange for the provision of certain material aid to the responders. They still have substantial resources and generously offer to share them to support their noble efforts. Of course, dear. What can I do for you?
The Whitesprings decor is
Of
refined.
course, dear. The owners of the Whitespring itself. The resort, hotel, golf course, all of it. Very much still alive, I assure you, though regrettably unable to oversee affairs in current circumstances. As such, now that we have new guests, they have sent me in their stead to take care of things as needed. I couldn't be more pleased to do so. A delicious opportunity to be of help and meet fascinating people such as yourself. Anyone in need of help, yes. You appear more well off than our usual guests, though, if I may say so. Less bedraggled than those poor souls. Armed. The refuge exists primarily to serve those who cannot help themselves. The starving, the sick, the homeless. There is a clinic, a kitchen, beds, recreational facilities, all manner of care to be found here. I'm so pleased to be able to assist in my own small way, of course. What a wonderful thing for you to ask, darling. I knew there was something special about you from the moment I saw you. As it happens, the responders are looking for volunteers to assist them in a particular outreach effort. Those industrious wonders have repaired a vertibird to full working order and are using it to make contact with more distant settlements. They've made allies with people in Pittsburgh. The locals call it the PITT now, who seem to be in dire need of outside assistance. If you don't mind me saying so, you look like you can handle yourself. You might be just who they're looking for.
Nothing else. Oh, if only he would dust those shelves of his.
They call themselves the Union. Something of a resistance movement, I understand, against more aggressive forces. One of their representatives is currently staying with us, a Mr. Skippy Rorich. Delightful man. Indeed, isn't that marvelous? They salvaged it and painstakingly repaired it. It's fully functional now. I was very pleased to be able to contribute to this effort in my own small way. If you wish to see it, it resides on the roof of the refuge between flights, along with its charming pilot, Ms. Lennox. Judging by what I've heard, it's an accurate one, sadly. Pittsburgh was bombed quite severely during the war. The poor individuals still living there have renamed it to better reflect its dreadful circumstances. Well, they'll be better able to explain the details, but I believe they're looking for fighters, actually. Their contacts in the pit are in something of a desperate situation, it seems, against a dangerous enemy. I hate the thought of you putting yourself in such danger, but it does appear to be for a good cause.
Mr. Della Ripa only likes to organize...
Oh, you're terribly brave, aren't you, dear? Imagine if we all had such courage. Now, darling, before anybody bundles you off, the first thing you should do is introduce yourself to some of the responders. I just so happen to know a few in need of more local assistance, and helping them will earn you the other thing you'll need. That other thing, of course, being the ultrasight battery cells, which fuel the vertibird. Ultracells, if you prefer. In an ideal world, darling, I'm sure they would. Sadly, this is not that world, and any reticence on their part is understandable. I don't want to speak for the responders, but I believe they may also see this as more for their Union friends than for themselves. Your assistance with their more immediate concerns will ensure everyone benefits. Isn't that a good outcome?
Don't listen to any naysayers.
Why, from me, of course. Rather, from the management via me, that is. When management heard the responders were restoring the vertibird, they wished to help. They provided the ultracells, and I suggested them to the responders as an alternative means of fueling the vertibird. Per management instructions, I distribute a quantity to certain individuals regularly. Management feels this encourages collective decision-making rather than stockpiling. I'm sure they'd be willing to part with them in exchange for your aid.
Orlando the other day telling me they'd reprogram me if I'm not more positive. The Whitesprings decor is refined and decadent. Don't listen to any naysayers.
My dear, you must understand, much as I would like to, my responsibilities do not permit me to do so. I am but a humble employee of the management, and I distribute their resources as instructed to the letter. I hope you will not begrudge me my loyalty. I find myself quite fond of you already.
Construction workers are up to. Look at what a mess they're making.
I could not possibly speak to your experience, dear. It sounds remarkable to make such discoveries. All I can tell you is that the management provides them for the refuge. Regrettably, that is as much as I know of the matter. I might wager that whomever was behind the ultracell you discovered likely shared similar contacts with management at some point, but who can say? Our lovely Ms. Rucker is the closest thing to a leader the refuge has, though I believe she's less than comfortable with the title. You can find her in their headquarters, beyond the dining area. The darling chef, Miss Rousseau, needs some assistance in the kitchen, I hear. And Ms. Wagner, over in the common area, is looking for donations. I'm sure your generosity will be well rewarded. Wonderful, my dear. I'm certain you will be a tremendous help to them and the refuge. When you are finished with each of them, I recommend you speak with Mr. Skippy Rorich, the PITT Union representative. I imagine he'll want to discuss the situation in the pit with you before you embark. Do feel free to visit me at your leisure if you wish to chat. I have an office in the management wing. You can't miss it.
I wish they'd tell us what all of those construction workers are up to. Look at what a mess they're making.